we were just contemplating this world of YouTube and internet and streamers and hackers and influencers and YouTubers. And when I started in Dharma, I was around 20 years old and doing meditation retreats and learning how to meditate. And then I met Rinpoche and lived at the Gonpa. All of these things of internet and YouTube, they weren't even in our imagination at that time. I remember the first contact I had with somebody that was looking at the internet was our translator at Rigdzin Ling Chuki. And I remember he'd spent hours and hours in his room, and he had a television, which was really rare at the Gonpa, at Rigdzin Ling. And then he had a computer, and he'd have the television on, and he'd be looking at his computer, surfing. But I had no idea, like, what's he doing hours and hours looking at the computer? Computer's the most boring thing in the world, because when we were in school, we'd learn how to program computers. It was that black screen with the little green letters, and you type in code. There was nothing interesting or fun about it. So now that we're able to use this technology to do practice with people and see people and stay connected, even in times like this that we're all supposed to be socially distancing, is so amazing. We wouldn't have even contemplated this 20, 30 years ago. So then, of course, we think, wow, what's going to be in 20 or 30 years from now? It's unimaginable. We can't even imagine, especially with this technology at the tips of our fingers. In fact, I saw that the Pope came out this week, and he said that he's asking all of his Catholic faithful to pray that artificial intelligence doesn't get out of control and start to dominate humankind, that humankinds are able to contain the technology of artificial intelligence and control it and direct it. So, I mean, these are very interesting challenges that humanity is going to be facing in the near and medium future. Hopefully we can, like any technology or any tool, hopefully we can use those things in a positive way to bring benefit. And that's one of the reasons the Dharma is so important, is because the importance of motivation. And that's probably something that's greatly lacking in our technologically advanced society, is this emphasis on motivation. Why do we develop this technology? What is our aim? What is our motivation? And if we were able to fine-tune our motivation, these technologies and capabilities would be much less dangerous to us and to others. And not just motivation in the Buddhist point of view. In the Lotus Sutra, for example, the Buddha talks about really the spiritual path and all faiths is really all one. Anybody that's practicing spirituality, trying to practice virtue, trying to abstain from non-virtue on the most basic level, trying to refrain from harming others, trying to benefit others on a little bit more advanced level, leading to higher rebirths, leading to heaven, leading to pure lands, and ultimately leading to complete enlightenment. He said, really, it's just a process of funneling all these beings to the ultimate goal of enlightenment, depending on their capacities, depending on their cultures, depending on their tendencies and their personal connections. But it's so amazing to see that from the enlightened being's point of view, to say, really, it's all one path, and really we're all heading towards the same goal. If you haven't had a chance to read the Lotus Sutra, it's quite a spectacular sutra, as are all the other sutras. So this morning we're continuing our study of the Red Tara practice. And at this point we were in the section on prayers. And specifically this is prayers for accomplishment section. And last week we talked about the importance of prayers. And a lot of people, they question the power of prayer. Does it really do anything? Does it really help others? Does it really help me? Is there anybody really listening? And, I don't have any kind of a magic connection to Buddha or Tara that I can say, yes, when I pray to Buddha or Guru Rinpoche, they talk to me and they answer me, and for me, it doesn't work that way either. But one thing I can definitely say from my experience is that prayer molds our mind. As we pray, we are creating tendencies and habits and certain thought patterns in our own mind that are positive and productive. And they create tendencies. Our mind's extremely malleable, extremely easy to mold and influence. It's easier to influence it in a negative way than it is in a positive way. The bad habits come without any effort. The good habits, we have to make an effort in the beginning. In the long run, if we keep insisting on them, such as prayer and positive thoughts and affirmations, they do become effortless. And ironically, the bad habits, even though they're effortless in the beginning, in the long run, they create tremendous difficulties in our lives that cause us to have to exert tremendous force and effort to deal with those difficulties. So if we make a little effort now to avoid the bad tendencies, to create the positive tendencies, in the long run, it's a much more blissful, effortless experience. So prayer takes us in that direction, molds our mind in a positive direction. And of course, this does have an effect on our lives and the lives of people around us. And that's just on a very basic level. There are many other levels, some of them which are beyond my personal understanding, that I'm sure that prayer does work and help. So this section from Chagdud Khadro's book is about the prayers for accomplishment. So the first prayer after the mandala offering has also incorporated, and Chagdud Rinpoche incorporated into the extensive Red Tara sadhana, was actually written by Khenpo Naga as part of his praises to the 21 Taras. Khenpo Naga was considered an emanation of Vimalamitra, and he was an enlightened master who lived near Chagdud Rinpoche's region of Trongtar. In this prayer, when he wrote, "May the enlightened mind be mastered, and appearances perceived purely as the deity's body," he was referring to the state of natural awareness, which is completely free of delusion, in which all appearances are recognized as spontaneous expressions of Tara's form. So that's an important aspect to understand when we say everything's perceived as Tara's form. It doesn't mean that we literally see Tara everywhere we look. There's Tara's foot, there's Tara's eyes, there's Tara's belly button. Seeing everything as Tara, first we understand what is Tara. Tara is the inseparability of appearances and their essential nature of being empty of any kind of true lasting existence. So through visualization practice with deities, we start to familiarize our mind with this inseparability of a form, of an appearance, and the fact that there's nothing really solid, lasting, substantial there. So that's why when we visualize Tara, for example, we visualize her in the form of light, because light is a very, very close approximation to the true nature of everything. Apparent, but without any lasting true quality. So as we familiarize our mind in this way with what is the essence of Tara, what is the essence of Buddha nature, naturally, ordinary daily experiences begin to take on a lighter quality. We realize things are impermanent, things don't last. We even understand from a physics point of view that really there's nothing truly solid here. It's a play of energy and light. So much so that the other day I was watching a show on the Discovery Channel, and a scientist was saying, we have this idea that our eyes are perceiving different colors of light. But in fact, scientifically proven, there are really no red photons. There really are no green or yellow or white photons. It's all our mind. Our mind projects and perceives that thing that way. There's not an objective reality out there that's truly red or truly blue or truly green. I don't know how to explain it scientifically like he did, but it's quite mind-blowing to understand that these things that we take as real and substantial, in fact, aren't as they seem. So through the practice with visualizing deities, we're approximating that true nature of things. And then this translates over into our daily life, and we start to perceive things in that way. Apparent, but without an intrinsic, true existence. So that's what we mean when all appearances are recognized as spontaneous expressions of Tara's form. The phrase, "may harm from other beings and bad dreams be averted," might make one wonder how dreams could cause harm. In a certain sense, we need protection from the negative energies present in our consciousness, which arise as the potent symbolism of dreams. In a different sense, we need protection from our own tendency to be influenced by the dream confusion. The fear generated by nightmares, for example, can increase aversion in daily life. In extreme cases, can cause physical and mental illnesses. So the Tibetans have an interesting approach in Tibetan Buddhism to dreams. There is dream interpretation that it does happen in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. But most importantly, from the practice point of view, is to recognize the dream, because dreams are a perfect example of this inseparability of form and emptiness, sound and emptiness. And if we can become familiar with the dream and realize that when we're dreaming that we are dreaming and everything seems so real in that dream, but we know it's a dream, that can translate over into our waking life as well. Recently, somebody that I know had a lucid dream, and they were so impressed with how real everything seemed in the dream. And then they woke up in the dream, and it was just as real as this, talking to people, seeing things. Then when you've had that experience on a number of occasions, this reality starts to also unveil itself as being made of the same material as the dream at night. So that's another way of approaching all appearances as an expression of the form of Tara. Okay, that's our Tara practice for today. Thank you very much for participating. It's wonderful for me to be able to do this practice as well in my native language of English. It's interesting. I've been in Brazil, 25 years now, something like that. And when I go back to my home city of Lincoln, Nebraska, and I speak English, people ask me where I'm from. They say, "Where are you from?" I say, "Oh, I'm from here." "What? Where'd you get that accent?" And actually, I don't know if I do or not, but it actually shows how malleable our brains are. Wherever we go, whoever we're around, whatever environment we're in, it affects us, it influences us. So obviously the importance of putting our mind in positive situations, with positive people, in positive places, with positive thoughts, positive aspirations and prayers. So thank you. Have a wonderful week. Hope to see you next week. Bye-bye.